Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the Fandom Podcast.
Hello,
Um,
welcome back.
yeah, today it's like the final week of October, Halloween week, really. So it also means last week of reviewing Halloween films. So, yeah. What have you thought of the
Yeah,
Halloween
yeah,
films or Halloween stuff we watched throughout this part of well, yeah, for our October to do for the podcast, you know?
been alright. We managed to get a decent range of stuff.
Yeah, I think the
Um, yeah,
Shaun of the Dead is probably, out of all the ones we've done, I think Shaun of the Dead is probably the greatest.
yeah, that's probably my favourite out of
Yeah,
the ones I've seen.
yeah, I think Werewolf by Night as well.
Oh yeah, that's probably my favourite actually.
I don't
Thinking
know, I
about
think
it now.
Shaun of the Dead is untopped, whereas unbeaten. Right then,
Yeah,
um, on a different kind of holiday, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special trailer. Let's get into that. Josh, thoughts?
I mean, it's everything you'd want out of a Guardians holiday special really. With looking from this trailer, it just looks like a lot of fun, and it's something that's not too important to the MCU, and it's actually like able to do comedy right for once. I feel like we've had a lot of comedy recently with like She-Hulk and stuff, and Thor: Love and Thunder. It's kind of it's missed. It's not very the comedy's not worked for me. But Guardians is usually comedy that I very enjoy. Guardians are the first Guardians film is probably one of my favourite Marvel films. It's great to see them back in a holiday special where they can just have fun and everything. Um, it just it looks like a very enjoyable special. And it looks like it's just like I say, it's just going to be a lot of fun looking at it. The humour in the trailer was great, with obviously Drax and Mantis going to see or going to get Kevin Bacon as a Christmas present for Star Lord. And then Kevin Bacon running down the road and then like jumping over, and we can see him just jumping over the hedge behind him. That's very funny. And yeah, it's just it just looks like a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, I put down in my notes. I think it looks funny, but at the end of the day, I don't really believe this will be anything important to the MCU, which I'm happy with, to be
Oh
honest,
no, yeah,
because it with Werewolf by Night, they didn't make all this connection to the MCU, whatever, and that turned out to be really good. That turned out to be probably the best Marvel project so far this year. We'll see if Black Panther actually tops that or this, but
yeah, yeah,
um. Yeah, so it does look really good. It's again like you said, Thor: Love and Thunder and She-Hulk. The comedy just kind of missed with that, but I think with it, everyone likes Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a thing. It's like something
oh
that
yeah, yeah,
just the comedy works for everyone. James Gunn, um, he works his magic on Guardians and it works. Um, like you said, Kevin Bacon. I think we cool to see a cameo. Well, it's like a bit of a cameo from him. Playing himself. So yeah, it's pretty funny. Um, I think I picked up Cosmo in the trailer, the dog that we saw in
oh
the
yeah, yeah,
first Guardians film, and in the comics, he does end up joining the Guardians team. So who knows? He might end up joining him in this film, or he ends up
yeah.
actually
I
being
mean,
on Earth.
Cosmo's confirmed as part of Guardians 3, isn't he? Is it he?
Yeah, yeah, he.
I mean, they've got a woman voice actor for him, so it's a bit confusing, but
Well, woman
yeah,
voice acts sparse at the end of the day, and there's a lot of women voice actors for male characters. So yeah.
yeah, I guess. Um, but yeah, the Cosmo the dog is confirmed for Guardians 3, I know, so it should make sense for them to kind of introduce him in a different place before they like put him onto the big screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think we're about to scratch everything there. So, Josh, what is your predicted rating?
I'm going to go for an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. I've also gone for an 8.5 out of 10.
Cool.
All right. Next up is Ant-Man Quantumania trailer. I'll start off with this one. Yeah, I think if we're looking at already this trailer compared to everything that Marvel have produced this year, it looks absolutely amazing. I mean, the effects of the quantum realm that we see, like all the VFX CGI complaints in other projects, and this all of a sudden looks absolutely amazing, and it's probably still unfinished too. So I
Oh,
can't wait to see
yeah.
the final cut of all of it. Um, we see Scott in his daily life. How Ant-Man is changing him. How the Ant-Man character is changing him. He's become famous. We see the Baskin Robbins work, like Baskin Robbins, I don't know, restaurant, cafe, whatever, um, ice cream parlor. I don't actually know what Baskin Robbins really is, but um, we see that place again with the old boss. So I think that'll be quite a funny cameo. Yeah, and we also get first look at Kang, Metropolis, as we see Jeanette. She taught before they all end up going to the quantum realm by um, Cassie creating the quantum realm signal thing. They all send them there, but Jeanette's really worried about it, obviously because of the fact Kang's down there, Metropolis. But I think it'll be good to see him. Good to see Kang in this. What they're actually looking for? I don't know. Maybe it will be revealed in a later trailer. There are theories going about that he might need something from MODOK. Uh, Obviously MODOK's confirmed to be in this film, so yeah, maybe he has to hire Ant-Man to steal off MODOK or something like that. Who knows? But I do genuinely believe to start off Phase 5, this film will be up there, like in the top 10 MCU films.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, on this trailer, it looks very good. I would say it didn't make me as hyped as some other trailers we've had from Marvel, but that could be a good thing because it means that if I'm not as excited for it, if it's very cool, then I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm going to be actually I'm going to enjoy it more. Like you say, visually it looks really good. Again, the comedy in this seems better than some stuff we've had recently. That's what Ant-Man's always been very strong for. Again, it's comedy. It's nice to see a kind of bigger story for Ant-Man. We've seen these first two films, which have been more just fun little stories, not too significant to the overall universe. They've kind of teased the quantum realm being like a huge thing for the Marvel universe, a huge place, and they've teased its importance. But I think this is the first one where we're actually going to see how important it actually is. And with Kang being the villain, but we can see it's actually a much larger scale film than the first two. It seems to have managed to keep its Ant-Man feeling to it still, and it's comedy. So I thought that was good. Like you say, with what Kang actually wants, I've seen theories that the place Kang's in, there's huge rings with engravings on them that are moving around. And obviously we've already heard rumours that the Ten Rings and the bangle from Miss Marvel could be big, important objects in the next in the multiverse saga. So I've seen theories everywhere that maybe these rings that Kang's got are linked to them in some way, and so maybe Kang's looking for the Ten Rings, which I think would be quite interesting. And obviously with Ten Rings as well. We saw in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene that they were sending off a signal somewhere, and maybe they could be sending a signal down to Kang. Is another theory I've seen. So yeah, it's clear it's going to be a very big film in the next phase of the MCU. So it seems very exciting in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to see like a breakdown. No, I have seen a breakdown of this. Yeah, I can't remember much from it, to be honest, but yeah, it does look really good, this, and I think it'll be the importance it will have for Phase 5 and Phase 6, and future projects as well, how they use the how they use the quantum realm. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it looks amazing. So, Josh, what is your predicted rating?
I'm going to go for an 8 out of 10 for this.
Alright, fair. I'm gone for a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Might be higher, might not, who knows.
Yeah.
Alright, next up is one that I'll be talking about, Andor, episode 8. Quite a dark episode, to be honest. So let's start off with Cassian himself. We see the prison that he's been taken into. I can't remember the exact name of it. Give me a second, I'll quickly pause just to find out. Alright, so Andor is taken to Narkina 5, which is like a the Empire has prisons on there. Prisons in there underwater. So I think it's just good to see like the expansion of other planets. You know, I mean, the last few projects for Star Wars have all just been Tatooine. To be honest, it's just been really boring. But yeah, they end up going to Narkina 5, and we see how they torture the prisoners. To be honest, I mean, their punishment is if they do anything wrong, the floor has got like some electricity waves that can basically shock them at extreme intensity. So yeah, so the prison is like a labor camp, that kind of thing. It's basically anybody fit enough to do work that they end up there. But yeah, as we see, they're all treated as like rats. Really, you know, they're all given instructions. They're all building these weird machines, and yeah, they're all and we see Andor there for about 5 days as you know, in each of the episodes, all he's doing is just building about these machines, probably parts for the Death Star, decent theory, but yeah, it's interesting. You know, I can speculate what it's about. But it gets darker as we see later on, you know, Melshi, who is actually in Rogue One. I didn't realise this. We see him in there, so there might be some kind of prison break in the next episode, which is what I suspect. And there was even a suicide in this episode, to be honest, as one of the prisoners, he basically steps out onto the electric floor in the middle of the night and just he dies, which is horrific, to be honest. I mean, I didn't really think Star Wars could go from Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett to this, like suicide, and how dark this show is overall and how deep. So yeah, on the other side, Vel and Cinta. It's actually the first live action queer couple in Star Wars. So yeah, you know, it's I guess um I guess it was going to happen at one point. You know, it's not being. You know, I guess if there being realism of the show, then it's probably always going to happen. So
yeah, I mean, like companies are being pressured now to show inclusion as well. They can't really have loads of Star Wars shows and films without need like gay couples or anything.
Yeah, we'll probably see it throughout a later project, maybe another queer couple, but it's. I guess if they want to go off of realism of how Andor actually is, then yeah, I guess it makes sense.
And I mean, people wouldn't accept it if they didn't include it in Star Wars at some point. So.
Yeah. We see Cinta is staying on Ferrix, without Vel. So, well, to watch out for Andor, as Andor is currently being hunted by Luthen and his kind of group. We also see Saw Gerrera in this episode, as he gives a speech about how all the rebel cells can't unite, and it's a great piece of acting, to be honest. I mean, I think Saw Gerrera as a character, he's great in the Clone Wars, and even his small part in Rogue One I thought was decent. So, yeah, Saw Gerrera talks about the separatists and the Republicans, how they all have these different views on society and how they can never unite. Another word on Ferrix, as Bix is arrested for suspicions. Obviously, might know where Andor is. I'm starting to believe that the finale could lead up to Andor breaking out, and maybe there's some kind of attack on Ferrix. I think the finale will definitely end on Ferrix. There'll be some kind of massive rebellion there. What happened, I'm not sure, but yeah, it will definitely end on Ferrix, I think. And the last bit to catch up on Cyril. He's taken in by the Empire, where the group we see. Oh, I can't remember her name. The ones in all the white uniform. Cyril's taken in there from his office job, as he describes how, they might need him, as he's only doing his job to look out for two officers who were killed by Cassian. We really see how he's obsessed by Andor, how he really wants to catch him. So, I am really liking Cyril's character. I think he is. Out of all the characters we've seen in the show, he seems like the most realistic, and he seems like out of all the characters, seems like the character that you can back the most, compared to others. So yeah, Cyril's decent. Yeah, that's about everybody. Mon Mothma, we see her at another party. She's she's still trying to do the banking. We also get to see a mention of Emperor Palpatine, and how they're discussing politics, and how how they they're scared of him almost, but Emperor Palpatine always constantly saying that, oh, you need me, and that kind of thing. Is it really showing the dictatorship side of all of it? So yeah, I think I'm quite happy to see the politics of Star Wars. It's something we haven't really seen before, and it's just a different side to it at the end of the day. Yeah, that's about it. I'll go ahead and give this episode a 8.5 out of 10, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Next up is Tales of the Jedi. Josh, do you want to get started?
Yeah, I mean, you can never expect too much from a series of shorts, obviously, but this actually quite surprised me. I thought it was actually a good series. I think I enjoyed the bits about Dooku more than the bits about Ahsoka. The Dooku episodes are really good. I thought they were great. And it was great to see more of his story, obviously, because not really seen his backstory or his turning to a Jedi before in a film or series. Turning to the dark side, even not to the Jedi. But yeah, I've never really seen that before, so I thought that was cool to see. So, yeah, the Ahsoka bits weren't as interesting. Some of them were alright. I found the first episode quite boring, if I'm honest. Just because I didn't think we really needed to see child Ahsoka.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that
Not
episode.
much happened really.
Yeah, that the first episode was a bit boring, but yeah, continue.
But yeah, the later episodes with Ahsoka were they were all right. Um, they weren't as good as the Dooku episodes, I don't think. They were still decent. Um, the, yeah, it's the same animation style as Clone Wars and everything, so we know it's going to be a good. It was going to be good visually. I mean, just the stories as well were very interesting. The Dooku ones, and yeah, just the way they've made these short, they're really well made. I thought. Good story is quite interesting. Obviously because they're shorts, they didn't drag out at all. Apart from probably the first episode, like I said. They're very interesting. Not too much to them, obviously, but still, like, quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, I must say, I think, like we said, first episode not great, but then we got into the Count Dooku side of things, and that's when the series really started to pick up. Like the second episode or the first part of the Count Dooku trilogy, amazing. Really, it's just
Yeah.
really see how he's got these different kind of views, how he sees different from the Jedi, and it's just and his second episode, we see him almost murder a senator, and how he agrees with the workers, or how he agrees with the guards who ended up killing the Jedi. No, did they kill the Jedi?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did. But Count Dooku agrees with them. He agrees with their ideas, which I always quite liked Count Dooku. Because he out of all the Jedi, and if he wasn't at the if he wasn't manipulated by the dark side, I do really think he is one Jedi I really have the backing of. As in the Clone Wars, it was all like the Mace Windu, just listen to whatever the Senate says. But Count Dooku, he was always had his own kind of intentions, believed in the Force basically, and keeping peace.
Yeah.
So, and in the final episode of the Dooku trilogy, uh, we see him kill Yaddle. We finally seen Yaddle's death, and we see him, work for Palpatine, as Palpatine was there as he killed Yaddle, and yeah, just the whole Dooku part of things was amazing.
Yeah.
The final,
It showed his turn into the dark side very well, I think, and his realization that the Jedi might not actually be that good.
yeah, the Ahsoka side of things. We got like a short episode for episode 5, the second part of the Ahsoka trilogy. That was basically just Anakin trying to show Ahsoka how to train for events like the Clone Wars finale and stuff like that. And then it was a decent episode for 10 minutes, but the final episode, the final very short fight, to be fair, between the sixth brother and Ahsoka was Ahsoka basically just floors the guy, as we see a bit of negativity towards the Jedi when the person rats her out, and yeah, we see what happens with when that happens, and as the Inquisitor burns down the whole farm, and the boy, which I can't remember his name, who ratted Ahsoka out and almost getting killed, but Ahsoka basically just Ahsoka basically floors the Inquisitor, just wipes him out. So I really thought this tells us Jedi. Hopefully we might be able to see season 2 of this, but who would they do? That's one question.
Yeah.
Whether that be maybe Old Republic era, or maybe even like Luke between some of his training years. That would be interesting to see. Maybe like just a couple of adventures of him going Imperial. Well, no, him fighting off the Imperials, through, I don't know, through some points between like Empire Strikes Back, well, no, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, maybe stuff like in between then. That would be pretty cool. Pretty cool. I can't speak properly today. Let's see. That's the only real idea I have. Maybe a different side to the Clone Wars. You know, might be able to see a Jedi that we haven't really seen, like maybe Ayla Secura, or I was about to say Ki-Adi-Mundi, but I don't think anybody would want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see more stories to do with the Jedi still. I mean, in my opinion, I think this probably would have worked better as a show purely focused on Dooku. Purely because I just didn't find the Ahsoka episode as interesting.
No, I agree with you there.
They were somewhat entertaining, they were enjoyable, but they just weren't as interesting and, you know, didn't feel as necessary as the Dooku episodes.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so much of Ahsoka that, you know, we don't want to see. You know, Ahsoka's such a good character. We don't want to see her really, like Star Wars dry her out. Really, you know, it's the thing. We don't want to see her used so much. You know, that's why I just don't want to see any more of her until the Ahsoka show, which I think would.
Yeah, they've put out so much about Ahsoka. Like you said, so
Yeah. Like just
the stories just didn't feel as necessary.
Hopefully they don't use her in Andor. Hopefully they don't use her in Mandalorian season 3. I don't know. She might turn up in Mando season 3.
Maybe Mandalorian, yeah.
Yeah. Have you got anything else to say?
No, I don't think so.
All right then. I'll give Tales of the Jedi an overall rating of 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. I've gone for an 8.5.
All right, fair. Higher than I thought you'd give it, but yeah, fair enough. All right. The next up is Predator. You weren't able to watch this one, so I'll get on to it. Just imagine a classic 80s film, to be honest. Classic 80s of, you know, military coming in, guns, and blowing stuff up. That's basically the first segment of the film. Arnold, you know, Arnold is coming out with the classic lines again. You know, I think he said like knock knock, and some of the stuff out there. It basically, you know, Arnold at the end of the day, he's not a great actor. He's just a massive bodybuilder, and you know, they just give him a gun and they just say action film, and it works. I think one question I would ask myself watching it, is it a horror film? And I'd argue looking at Alien. Like, if you look at Alien it isn't a massive horror film. You know, there's not really anything. Like the xenomorph is still fairly scary, but you know, there's not really any jump scares in there. And if you want to compare tension, then the Predator film probably has more tension than it. But there's like a couple mild jump scares, and I think you could argue it has the aspects of a horror film. So for the 80s, it's probably a mild horror film, which I think is a fair enough ranking of it. It also had a fight at the end, Arnold and the Predator, as the Predator takes off his mask. I've never seen any of the Predator stuff before, so I think I'll try and get a review out of Prey, which is a new film that released this year in the Predator franchise, so I'll check that out and hopefully review it at some point this month, or in the month of November.
Yeah. It got lots of good reviews, so...
Yeah, I think it's, from what I've heard of it, it's just, you know, they weren't trying to go for anything special. They just went for, we'll give you just a decent Predator film. So I think that's what films really need to start looking at if they want to if they want to continue on a franchise, they don't do anything special, don't try and risk anything, just, you know, simple storyline, and give us like the Predator or the Alien or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's about it really. I haven't really thought much else to say. I didn't. Some of the actors I recognised in this, obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger, Action Man himself, and Carl Weathers, who, I guess it was decent to see them both in there. I quite like Carl Weathers as an actor, so yeah. Struggling for things to really say. It's a If you want to go check this one out, it's a decent one. Um, it's about 2 hours long, I believe. Um, about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So, it's a fairly decent watch for a film. And if you like action films, then this is probably perfect for you. So, yeah. Predator.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give it a uh 8 out of 10. I think that's fair.
I'll just try and check it out at some point. That and Alien, I've missed both of them.
Yeah. All right then. Have you got any news from this week?
Let me just check. I'm not sure. Not much.
Quickly working on
I
pause.
might have got.
All right then. So from a couple of weeks back, this one is. Didn't mention this one. Harrison Ford in the MCU as Thunderbolt Ross in the Thunderbolts. So I think that's amazing casting. To be honest, I think that's one that the fans wanted, and I think Harrison Ford is great.
Yeah, I think he can play that role quite well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if they're gonna make Thunderbolt Ross a more important character and he's needed in the future of the MCU, then it was a good idea to recast him.
Yeah. A new show about Vision, Vision Quest series, will reportedly focus on White Vision trying to regain his memory. I think that'll be quite interesting to see, but I don't really know how they can, for like the classic Marvel show runtime, like I don't really know how they can get 6 episodes out of it, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We'll see what Marvel can
Maybe
do.
a special presentation could work instead.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah.
We'll see.
And yeah, also on Black Panther that had its premiere this week, but I haven't heard good news about it.
Haven't you? I've seen great reviews for it.
Is it?
That's all I've really seen so far.
I thought there wasn't decent reviews for it. I'll have a quick look at it.
Most of the actions I've seen have been very good. Been called very moving. A great tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not really supposed to be a tribute to Chadwick Boseman at the end of the day. I mean, it's supposed to be his main thing. That's why they didn't recast him. So, I'll have my.
I think it is. People are saying it's a very good film about grief and stuff. I'm not sure about action and stuff. People are saying that the cast have done really well. And it's a great story. We can just wait and see. Really, we've only got a couple of weeks left to wait. But yeah, I've seen generally good reviews.
Yeah, I'm seeing a positive review here, but obviously I won't trust everything that critics say because they give that to a lot of films.
I haven't seen like one bad review so far. I think though. So.
All right, fair. I guess let's hope it's all right. Let's hope it's decent because current state of Marvel, not great this year.
Yeah.
Whole of Phase 4 not great.
I think this film should be very good.
Yeah.
Looking at the reactions they've had and just all the footage we're starting to get, I think it looks like it's going to be a great film.
Yeah, I'm really hoping one of the post-credit scenes isn't useless, because I've just seen that they removed the Doctor Doom post-credit scene, which
Yeah,
everybody
I've
would
seen
have
that
liked
it's
to
only
seen
going to
it.
have one post-credit scene.
Only one post-credit scene? Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Why remove it? Everybody would have wanted to see it.
I mean, they never confirmed a Doom one in the first place, though, so it wasn't necessarily removed. It was never necessarily happening.
I think it was, the
People
theories
were
were
just
massive.
hoping for it.
If someone's like
Yeah.
Superman and Black Adam, I guess if any, well, I think it was more obviously just suspect Superman and that, but if people are predicting the post-credit scenes, I'll probably go ahead and believe them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been called very moving, the post-credit scene, so I'm guessing it's some tribute one. I'm not expecting too much from post-credit scenes for this film.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody would have liked to have seen it though. That's the thing. I'd love to have seen Doctor Doom.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah, I would have been interested to see how we'd have actually fitted into this. Maybe his Namor's working for him. Maybe Doctor Doom isn't even in the post-credit scene. Maybe he's in the actual film itself. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll pop up at some point over the next couple of phases.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll have some links to the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I don't really know what kind of films he could show up in. Maybe it has to be. I guess we'll wait and see in Phase 5. He'd probably pop up there, maybe early. But yeah, that's about it from me. Josh, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think we touched on all the news I've heard.
Alright then. So next week we are talking about Andor episode 9. Is Rick and Morty back?
No, that's not till the end of November, I don't think.
Oh wow, that's a fair while.
Yeah, it's about a month we're having to wait, so.
Let's see, there's only really Andor I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to get some top 3 in or something. When is Rick and Morty back? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's November 20th, so a few more weeks yet.
Alright, well, expect a few top 3s next week. Thanks very much for watching.
Unless we get any trailers.
Yeah, which we might do. And see you next week. Goodbye.